Hi, my name's Wahida from Wahida Finley Hypnotherapy, and in this short video you will hear one of my recent clients, Dan, talking about his gambling addiction. Keep watching and you will find out how hypnosis can help with addiction. At our first session, Dan said to me, I'm constantly seeking a new win, trying to win back everything that I lost. He thought that that was the reason that he was gambling, the thrill of the chase. He didn't understand why he couldn't stop gambling daily, daytime and at night for 10 years, to the point where he started having panic attacks and anxiety. When he came to see me, he was on medication for anxiety to help him to sleep, and he still wasn't sleeping well, even with the medication. He was gambling online till early hours, not feeling sleepy. He was waking up in the night, tired at work during the day. He was fearful about the future and just didn't want to continue in this constant negative loop forever. Dan is a 26-year-old sweet young man who had gambled every day for 10 years and just couldn't escape that negative behaviour. When we met, Dan was so low and unhappy, suffering with his panic attacks in his everyday work situations, and he couldn't sleep with all the worry and anxiety. Now, I don't agree to work with everyone that calls me, so I had to make sure that he was committed, that no one was forcing him to change. He bravely phoned me without pressure from anyone. He said he was 100% in, and although he was very nervous, he was willing to do whatever I asked. He did all the hard work. Everything I asked him to feel, to do, to listen to recordings at home every day, turn up on time, he did. He put in the hard work from the very first day that I met him, and he stopped gambling immediately. And we continue to work through my rapid change addiction program to make sure that he could be confident out in the real world and never return to gambling again. It's now been 2 months without gambling, and he's ready to go out in the world as someone who no longer gambles. I'm so proud of Dan, and it was incredibly brave for him to go on camera to tell the world about his gambling addiction. He was so nervous and is shaking in the video, as you will see. He wanted to help someone else with an addiction, someone else that feels on the edge or feels out of control. So maybe this video will help somebody else like Dan. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Wahida Finley. Here is Dan's story about addiction.
Hello, my name is Dan. I came to see Wahida for a gambling addiction. I gambled for 10 years nearly every day, and after my sessions so far I've not gambled for 2 months, and I feel a lot more positive and getting my life back on track.
What was life like for you before, when you were a gambler?
Life before was probably dark and grey, probably living like it's not real, whereas now reality is much more there and getting there day by day.
What about the money aspect?
Money eventually will come back to me, and I won't gradually stop worrying about it more and more.
What did gambling do to your life?
Well, it stopped me doing the nice things in life and stopped me even thinking about the nice things in life, because I knew I'd never be able to afford them, whereas now I can at least plan and look forward to things.
So it's been 2 months since we met?
Yep. 2 months.
And how do you feel about gambling?
Yeah, I now hate gambling, and hopefully never, well, I will not go back to it, yeah, Phil.
And you've been to pubs and situations with machines and things?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I can now look at things or see things and not want to bet, or not get the urge to bet anymore, to be honest. Which before I couldn't quite believe it, but...
Yeah. And you said your friends still bet in front of you, don't they?
Yeah, and that doesn't bother me in the slightest. That's their loss, not mine.
Okay. So if you were going to say anything to someone that's thinking about hypnotherapy now, what would you say about hypnotherapy for gambling addiction? How does that work?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure how it worked before, but after each and every session I felt more and more positive and more relaxed, and yeah, very happy I did it. I really recommend working with Wahida. She's been very calming and positive throughout and helped me with everything possible and asked the questions that I needed.